Hello, this is John from caveofprogramming.com, and in this tutorial I'm going to deviate slightly from the strict topic of Android development to show you how to create a simple Java server program. And we're going to use this to demonstrate uploading, downloading and other stuff possibly. But to be able to upload and download stuff, we need some kind of server to upload stuff to and download stuff from, and that's what I'm going to create in this tutorial, or at least I'll create a hello world Java servlet program, as the technology is called, and we can then use that in future tutorials. And I don't want to get too deeply into Java servlets here because it is kind of off topic, but I thought it would be useful to have a Java servlet program just to work with, just to demonstrate how a phone can talk to a server that's running on the internet. And I'm going to really quickly rush through creating a basic Java servlet here. And a Java servlet is a kind of server technology that can run on the internet and that your phone can then talk to, and it could also enable you to do communication between phones, as I explained in a previous tutorial. If you want to know more detail about Java, about creating server programs in Java, then I've got a tutorial which you can find if you go to www.caveofprogramming.com, that's all one word. Then you will find links to this servlets and JSPs course, and although the course isn't free, the first 7 videos are, and you can watch those for free, and they take you right from setting up your system for Java servlet development all the way up to deploying your Java servlet application on the internet. So you might just need this bit, and if you want more complex information about servlets and JSPs and creating sophisticated programs that will run on the internet in Java, then I'd be delighted if you signed up to the whole course. And there's quite a lot of information here that can cover most of what you could really want to do, I should think, at least for the purposes of phone programming, including connecting to databases and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, here I've set up Java EE. Well, I've set up the Eclipse IDE for Java EE developers, that's Enterprise Edition developers, on my computer, as I talk about in that JSP course in like the first tutorial or the second. And I think I've just got the standard version of Java actually running on my machine. There is actually Java EE version which you can download in addition to the standard SDK if you want. But the important thing here is I'm going to use a host called CloudBees, and I think they use Java version 6, so I'm going to create this application using Java version 6. So I've installed the 6 version JDK 1.6 on my machine. So I'm going to do like file new here, and I'm going to go to dynamic web project, and you'll only have this application in the Eclipse for Java EE developers. You'll need to download that separately if you've only got the normal Java Eclipse version. And I'm going to give this a name like Android server demo, let's say, and I'm going to set the dynamic web module version here to 2.5 for reasons that I shan't go into here. And I'll click next, and this all looks good, and finish. And now I'm going to right click that and go to new servlet, and a servlet is a kind of Java class that can act as a server, so it can run on the internet, and browsers or applications can make requests to it, and it can then send back data, perhaps in the form of HTML pages, in which case you've got a website, or it could send back some kind of specialized format data just for your application. So let's put it in a package. I'll put it in com.caveofprogramming.android, but you could just put it in any package you made up, like call it demo or something, it doesn't matter. And let's give the class name, let's make the class name server, and I'll click next, and This all looks good to me. Click finish. And now I'm going to try to run this, and I often get errors when I try to run this stuff to start with, but I'm going to click the big green run button, and I might need to end up changing a few things. I'll click run on server, and I should also say that I've installed Tomcat on my machine, and the Apache Tomcat server, it's a free program that is used for, it's what we call an application server, and it serves up, it's like a container for Java servlet programs that can run on the internet. It's basically a server itself, and so you'll need to install that. And I appreciate that I'm rushing through this, but again, you can find much more detailed descriptions of this stuff for free if you look at the first few videos of my servlets and JSP course, if you need that, or you could just write a PHP script or something like that. So let's run this on Tomcat 7 locally and click finish here, and this may work or it may not, and so that doesn't look good, but I need to actually go to my Java resources folder, source and a package, select server, and I need to actually run that to get this to work. Let's tick always use this server and click finish again. And I don't know why I'm getting this so much recently. I'm just going to clean my project, and let's try stopping Tomcat there. And I find that it's really fiddly to set this up, and once it's working it tends to work, but you can have a lot of problems initially. But here we go, it's actually working now, and this is a blank web page, but I'm going to go to my server.java. I'm going to find the doGet method, and I'm going to say here print writer out equals response.getWriter, and response is an object that's passed in, and we use that object to make responses, like to send data back to our phone or browser. I'll add the input load, Control-Shift-O, and I'll say out.println hello world. So it's just like doing system.out really, and I'll save that and I'll click run, and this has some terrible caching problems. Let's hit return, and if that doesn't work, get rid of it and click run again and stop it maybe. Let's get rid of all these windows and get rid of that, and let's go to project clean. Let's try it again, and I'll make sure server is selected, and I'll click the green run button, and here we go, finally it's working. Okay, and it says hello world, and so this could be a web page, and you can right click, and this is actually a browser and do view source, but I'm just outputting hello world, so I'm not outputting HTML, but I could if I wanted. And now so you could test that on your local machine, like if I copy this URL and I go to a web browser and I paste that in here, I can actually access that server directly through my internet browser. But just for fun, let's deploy it to the internet. And what I've done is I've created a account with these guys called CloudBees. It's at cloudbees.com. You can create a free account there, and I think Amazon and Google have similar services to this, and up to a certain amount of data usage or whatever, it's free. I never had to give these guys a credit card or anything. I'm just going to log in here, and I am logged in already. Okay, that's good. And I'm going to click applications here. This is really nifty. You can even have a free database of up to 5 megabytes to work with your application. And I'm going to click add new application, and let's call it Android server. Click finish, and they actually use cloud technology. A lot of these Java application servers use this cloud technology, so that if you ran a website or you ran some kind of server that people's applications on their phones depended on, even if it went from like a few users really quickly to millions, hopefully you could scale up, because you haven't got a single computer sitting there, you've got a whole cloud of them, and you can just use more bandwidth as and when you need it, as long as you're prepared to pay for it, of course. Now I'm going to go here, and I'm going to you can deploy stuff really quickly apparently if you install their SDK, but I haven't done that. So I'm going to use this mechanism. I'm going to click this button here, click choose file, and I'm going to upload a WAR file, but I forgot I need to create that WAR file first. So let's go back to Eclipse and right click the project here, Android Server Demo, and go to export WAR file, and I'll call this Android Server Demo .war. So let's actually go to browse under destination. Here's my desktop, and I'll call it Android Server Demo.war. And .war means web application archive or something like that. It's kind of like a jar file, but for web applications. And I'll click finish. I think I'm using Tomcat 7, which I think is compatible with CloudBees. And one thing that you should check, if you go to properties, make sure you're building with Java 6 1.6, and that's only necessary at the moment, and CloudBees of course may upgrade, and if you're using some sort of Amazon service or Google service, maybe this doesn't apply, but I need Java 6 for this. And so now I've got my WAR file, and go back to my browser, which is here, and click choose file here, and Android Server Demo.war, and click finish. So it's deploying my application, and this is going to run it on the internet, and I could use this with an actual live application, really. Although if I did anticipate heavy usage, because there's like a bandwidth limitation for this, for the free version, I think, then I probably would pay, for this service, or for a similar service with Android or Google or someone. So now I can click on this URL, and we won't see anything immediately, but it's gone to this URL, and if I go back to my Eclipse now, I can see this bit here. I've got localhost 8080, and that's my it's the host name and port that my Tomcat server is running on. But this bit here is called the context root, and that's basically the bit of the URL after the domain name. And then we've got server, which is the actual kind of servlet URL on that domain name at that context root. And we can set it up very easily so that you could just go to the domain name directly and see output. But I haven't done that here, and I'll just leave that. So let's just copy that, the context root, and the actually I don't think I need the context root, because that will change when I upload to CloudBees. So actually I'm just going to copy this /server bit at the end there and just paste it there. So I just need to go to my particular servlet and hit return, and there's my servlet running, and it's on the internet. Anyone can see that, and you could even output HTML with that. But I'm going to use it here for testing, obviously, these Android applications, and we're going to go on in the next tutorial to looking at how we can communicate with this server. So join me again next time, and until next time, happy coding.